Hi guys, Dustin here, and we are continuing our Sniper 101 course. We're over here at the National Association for Gun Rights Private Range. It's a pretty cool place. No, you can't really come play here, but you can support them, so go check out their channel. We'll leave a link down below up where, so everywhere on YouTube. But we have, we've gone through a few episodes already setting up this awesome KRG Sodic rifle, 6.5 Creedmoor with a zero compromise optic. We have a Thunder Beast arms, a suppressor, and bipod. We're running some Hornady 143 ELDX ammo, and it's just been fun. Now it's 40-mile-per-hour wind, or is it more? I mean,
yeah, 40-ish,
40-ish mile-an-hour wind. So instead of fighting the wind today, we're going to start working on some, well, what do you call this?
Call it an obstacle, because it could be anything to a hunter or shooter out there. It could be a tree that fell down, and they need to rest a rifle over that.
Right.
So this is all simulating stuff like that in the field.
And I'll introduce our guest again. This is Nick with ZCO Optics, and I mean, a shooting instructor and a competition shooter, and a lot more long-range experience than I have. And so we're having fun learning different things. And you know, here's what I see: a lot of people, they go and just sit on a bench, and that's all they ever shoot their rifle at. And it's like, that's not real-world stuff, but this can be.
This can be, yeah, most definitely, especially, you know, for competition type of stuff. This is what you would run into. But again, a hunter isn't going to have something like this out in the field. However, they might have a tree limb. Right. They could have a large rock pile, especially if they're in somewhat mountainous terrain. And so this is all good replication for something similar where they can get used to getting off the bench or getting off their belly. Right,
right, and that's what I call it. It's just get off the bench shooting. You know, real world stuff. Even if you're just standing gun supported, do something else. But,
that's right.
But you know, getting into a solid position, there's a lot more to that than just jumping on it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And all your fundamentals that we learned from the prone position, all those fundamentals still apply here. You're just in a different body position. So we need to learn, what does that look like to establish your natural point of aim from seated, from kneeling? What's the best practices for managing recoil when your entire body weight isn't directly lined up behind the gun?
Awesome. So where do we start?
So we're essentially just going to work our way up from prone, and so the next position would be maybe a low seated type of a position, or something at about this height right here, where you can put your butt on the ground, your legs are on the ground, but your chest and everything else has got to be up above that.
Right, because prone is going to be pretty much prone. Just instead of the bipod, we'd be resting here. So we can skip that and go to sitting. Let's do it.
Yep. So I'm actually going to demo with my own personal rifle, because I'm more used to that, and I don't want to make adjustments to your rifle that we have set up for you.
Thanks for checking out today's video, guys. Also, make sure you check out our sponsor, Scheels. Scheels has everything you need for your outdoor adventures, from hunting and fishing and shooting and camping and biking, all those things. You can get the premium brands over at Scheels.com. I shop at Scheels all the time because I find the best prices there, but that's really not an issue, because if you find a better price somewhere else, Scheels will price match guarantee in-store or online. So check them out today. There will be a link down below for Scheels.com, and we thank them for sponsoring this video.
So one of the very first things that we start to learn and do is that when we're shooting off of some other obstacle, we try to not have a hard obstacle in contact with the hard forearm of the gun. We want some sort of a pad in there, and that helps with a little bit of recoil mitigation, as well as make sure that things don't bounce and come off of each other. There's a little bit of pad. I like a bag similar to this one here. This is made by Warhorse Development. It's got some decent fill in there, but you can tell it's not overly heavy, but it's malleable. It can kind of conform to some obstacles, and there's enough padding.
That's kind of cool.
There between things. What would we end up doing with our bipod? Now, if we have these Orca rails, this is real easy. I can take my bipod right off.
That's what I was thinking.
That is super easy, right? Well, a lot of times you can't do that, but we can at least get it folded up out of the way so that it's not in our way.
Right.
So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So rifle basically just goes through here onto the pad. And what's really nice is if your rifle is balanced really well, it's essentially just going to sit there. A lot of this might depend on how fast do I need to get up and out of position.
Okay.
If I'm a hunter and there's just a deer at some distance, am I in too much of a hurry to get out of this position and move? No. I hope not. I'm hoping that my shot is good. For a competitor that might need to move from this position to another position, they might not want to sit with their legs kind of crisscross like that, because that might slow them down.
Yeah.
However, I'm gonna sit here like this because one, I'm somewhat flexible, and I'm still kind of fast. But it also gives me a fairly wide base on the ground, okay? So I'm gonna find my target, and this is where your natural point of aim all kind of comes into play. If my rifle is naturally sitting over here, and I try to just torque it into position,
Okay.
then as it recoils, it's gonna want to recoil back towards where it's naturally aiming. So since my target is over this direction, when I set it on here, I wanna kind of get it into position.
Nestle it in.
Now it's pointed at the target, and that's
Right.
where it wants to be. Next thing that I wanna think about is shoulders and hips. Right now, my hips are kind of crooked to the gun. I'm gonna straighten that up, square up my shoulders.
Just like we did prone.
Exactly, that's right. And from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and make some shoulder contact. What I wanna do with my firing side elbow though, is brace that off of some point of contact, whether that's my knee or something else, okay? So for me, it's nice and easy. I can brace that right there. Support hand. Lots of things we can do with a support hand. We can bring it under here to help manage the rear of the stock. Or we can kind of push it forward over here and kind of help brace the rifle with the support bag. Or we might end up even bringing our support hand up over here on this part of the gun.
Okay.
Now, this is entirely user preference.
Sure.
For this, okay? My preferred technique, I tend to go up here because it helps with my support hand, give a little bit of orientation with the muzzle here so that I'm not making the rifle controls with my firing hand.
Right.
This firing hand, I just want that to apply pressure straight back
Okay.
into this. So I'm here, I'm onto the gun, I have a good sight picture, it's easy to acquire, and I'm on the target. Everything is good, nice and stable. I can do a dry fire check. Reticle didn't move.
Ah,
Everything
nice.
is beautiful. Now again, base rifle shooting techniques come into play. Breathing, exhale, pause, slight pressure back, steady trigger squeeze,
Right.
follow through, watch for your impact.
Right, so
Make
if
an
you missed that
adjustment.
earlier video, go check out the one where we're going prone and getting everything set up and zeroed, and a lot of the fundamentals there gonna apply to everything we do.
Yep, so we're just gonna kind of work ourselves up. But these are the things that we're looking for. Stay
Got it.
straight to the gun, natural point of aim. With everything here, I'm at the target, no big deal. I can close the bolt, exhale, pause, press.
All right, get at the balance point. I'm gonna sit in, go ahead and cross legs if I'm not in a hurry. Square up, square and square up, shoulder there. All right, I'm gonna nestle it a little more so it stays put. Okay, so before dry fire, how we looking?
Yeah, looking really good. Is your right elbow is braced on your knee?
Yeah, but my knee's actually a little too low, so I'm gonna adjust that there.
Yep, you can do all that.
Okay, that's
Okay.
a little more secure.
Okay. And are you able to hold pretty steady on the target?
As steady as the wind is keeping this.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, for sure. Yep. And just do a couple dry fire drills, and we're just watching for reticle movement off the target.
Look good?
Yep. Exhale, pause, steady trigger press. Follow through.
Very nice.
Awesome.
All right.
Smack.
Right by it.
Too easy.
Right there.
Perfect.
Okay.
So now we're just going to go ahead and apply the same principles, but we're going to move up a little bit in height-wise.
Right, because this feels pretty easy, natural, but some of this in-between stuff.
As we start going up, there's less and less contact with the ground, and higher, which makes things even more and more difficult. So here's what I would call like an intermediate kneeling kind of position.
Okay.
For something like this, again, we want to try and brace our right elbow if we can. Okay, that'll automatically bring stability to that part of the gun. So put this knee down and right knee up.
Right.
And are you able to brace elbow on knee?
Yes. It's a little high, but I can make it happen.
You're a little bit higher. Yep.
Oh, that helped.
Okay, and so
Don't know if that was right though.
Yep, no, perfect. Okay. So, but you're able to still get your firing elbow braced off of something. That's usually going to help steady everything up right there. Yep. So again, hips square to the direction of fire. Okay. Shoulders generally square to the direction of fire as well. And then again, support hand wherever you prefer it to be. And that's all going to come from practice. Okay. Yep. So do a couple dry fire.
Okay. I'm being picky because the wind is moving everything.
Yeah. Yep.
But I guess that's the name of the game.
Yep. Exhale, pause, steady trigger press, recoil management. Send a couple of live rounds, see how it goes.
All right. Same splatter. Nice. I rushed it a little, but you know, it was enough for the size target we're shooting.
Yep.
Felt great.
Awesome.
Good group.
So then from here, we'll just go ahead and move on up another rung on our support here.
All right.
Yep. Okay. Now, is this something that we can kneel for and still get behind the gun?
I don't
Probably
think so.
not. Too high, right?
Howitzer set.
Okay. So we're like at this standing height,
right?
But we're not fully upright, right? Again, here we need to kind of think about best practices for body alignment and positioning and all that kind of good stuff. Now, is it going to work best if we just bend and we support all of our like muscular weight or weight with our muscles? No. Your legs are going to start to fatigue after a while, right? If you have to do that. Easier way, we try to spread our feet out a little bit wider.
That's what I teach at marksman camp.
Yep, but I would have you square up your feet to the target.
Really?
And actually kind of lean forward at the waist.
Oh, okay. See,
a little bit more.
I'm on the recoil control side and I shoot, but I don't shoot precision rifle.
Yep, we still want to try and stay squared up to the target, and we'll just kind of spread our feet to drop our hips down, and then we bend forward just a little bit.
But not bending the leg. Do you lock or just a bounce?
Just where your knees are comfortable.
Right,
what I try to do is not rely as much on muscular support to
definitely not
do that. You don't want to do that. But I wouldn't lock out my knees either.
Felt good. All right.
Yep. Okay.
Any tips?
Sure.
We have 1 round.
1 round. I better make it count. Let's go for a small target this time.
That's what I'm wondering. So I'll try for that 2-inch little guide on the left side.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, it's blowing. I'm giving excuses already. Oh man. Oh, yeah. Nice. Right, maybe about 1 inch to the left of the center.
Oh, right on.
Sweet.
Right on. All right, that's cool.
All right, we'll reload and do some more.
Yeah. Good shot, man. Next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna move up one more to where it's more of a more vertical, upright kind of standing position. So we're gonna transition up to here, but I'm actually gonna show you something a little bit extra where we can use some of our other equipment that we have. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll grab. I'll do your rifle. That's fine. Go ahead and set that thing up there.
All right.
Okay. So from this height, for me, this is just about perfect. I'm not bending forward at the waist, but I don't also want to just be straight up behind the gun. I do want to be a little bit behind it with a little bit of a forward lean to help with recoil management, right? But what we want to do is we want to utilize that 2 vets tripod that we have sitting back over here.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and bring that over.
Oh man, that's light.
Nice and lightweight, isn't it?
It's huge, but it's like half a pound.
Yeah, so this is their Recon tripod. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna open this thing up a little bit. What I want is one of these legs to kind of come over here to where it's real close to making contact to the bottom portion of the stock of this particular rifle here. Okay, so again, we're orienting the gun to the target. We want to keep our feet and our hips square to the target, slightly behind the butt pad, so I can kind of lean forward into it just a little bit here. But what I'm going to do with this tripod now is I'm going to go ahead and bring this over like this. I'm going to take my firing hand and wrap under the legs to the grip of the rifle, right?
Right.
My support hand now, instead of being out here, is going to provide support right here.
Like it.
Because I'm bracing the vertical with my hand off of the leg of the tripod.
Gotcha.
And then I'm going to end up essentially pinching the stock of the gun.
So we do
into the
have
tripod.
contact between the stock and the tripod.
Yep.
Yep, so we're just pinching
So
it in between.
we can do that. And what
Okay.
that's going to do is it's going to give you a lot more
That's gonna
stability.
be super stable.
Especially with windy conditions like this that,
as long
that's trying
as-
to blow us around.
Well, look, well, yeah, we can.
Yep,
snug
that's
it all
not
up.
too bad. But when we get on here and we start looking through the scope, I'm not moving hardly at all.
Awesome.
Okay, so again, this is generally going to start from someplace else,
Sure.
but I want to orient to the target, keep everything in line first. I'm going to bring the tripod over, wrap underneath the leg,
Yep.
bring my support hand in here, kind of do a pinch, and you notice my thumb is essentially just coming up under here
Of course.
to do that. So I can go ahead and pinch that in.
I love it.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and have you
Oh, just
kind
take
of
over here.
essentially it's the same thing. Again, feet, hips, shoulders, all try to stay square to the target.
Yeah.
Are you able to firm up your position and you're not hardly going to be moving?
So I think it'll help
really
better
much at all.
if I drag this over so those legs are
Yep.
a little more locked, like you said.
Yep.
Because this is 6 points of contact now. We have, that's pretty great. All right. Elbow, just tuck in. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
How
here's-
stable is that?
The
for you?
only thing is my pivot point is here now. So instead of kind of here being my pivot point, when I'm attaching this, it just likes to pivot down low.
Yeah, a little bit on there, but that's going to be well within manageable
Oh, sure.
kind of tolerances. For
It's just
precision.
noticeable.
Yep.
And it's going to pivot somewhere, but oh yeah, I can hold that quite well on target.
Nice and stable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. A few
Go
dry
ahead
fires.
and do a couple dry fires. Just kind of see how that feels for you.
That was short stroke. I knew that. A gust of wind hit me right when I pulled the trigger.
Yeah, but a lot more stable than if you were
Oh,
just trying to manage
yeah.
it without any sort of.
Another point of contact is great.
Yeah, so this is one of those uses that we have for a good tripod.
Right.
For a field type position to help us a little bit more stable. And we can use that in a multitude of other positions, but for something like this, very, very handy if we have that tool available to us.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's do a couple live rounds.
If we do that, how about we try 300 this time?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
because 200, I mean, I'm hitting the little guy a little bit.
Yep.
So we'll reposition, get it
Yep.
nestled.
Impact.
Yeah, a little less wind than I thought it would be.
Okay.
Pretty close to where I wanted it. One more should put it right in. It's going right where I'm sending it. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
or just walking it to center. Nice. Okay, good hits. Okay, and I like
Excellent.
it. 6 points of contact and all that good stuff.
Yep. Yep.
All righty.
So those are essentially your basic positions, working from prone, coming up into a seated, kneeling,
Right.
Low standing, and then a much more vertical standing kind of position. Now, everything can still happen in between those different positions.
Sure.
Right? So one of the other positions that people practice, something that I would call a high kneeling, something where I'm not able to brace my right elbow
Okay.
on my knee, but I'm
Okay.
still in a kneeling kind
Yeah,
of
that's
position.
a good one to check out.
Right. And so one of the techniques that we do for that is actually just both knees down on the ground, since I'm not able to brace anyway. And I really try to make sure that my bag support, my rifle orientation, my balance of the rifle on the bag is all excellent before I take that shot.
Okay.
So that when I do get everything on there, everything kind of bounces out, I get it on the target. And when it recoils, it's gonna come straight back, back on target, and it should be right there for money on your
Awesome.
shot.
Okay.
All right, so both knees just down on the ground, right? But here we need to, again, make sure that knees, hips, shoulders rifle oriented to the target, right? And you can go ahead and make sure that that rifle gets settled into the bag. And you're right at the balance point on the gun, so that's all perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So here's where some people play with their support hand a little bit, either providing a little bit of input to the forend of the gun here,
All right.
or actually bringing their hand up and kind of resting up over the top of here. Yep.
All right. Start this just so we can see any movement later. Okay, heels and toes. What would you recommend there? Because I find them weak walking around.
If it were me, I would try and put just kind of heels down. If your heels are up, they're going to want to wiggle. But if you can kind of orient them some other way so that your heels aren't flopping around very much.
Right. All right. We'll just go with that. Not the most comfortable, but we'll try that. 1.1 and a 4. I mean, felt good. No movement.
Yep.
Right in with the rest. Got a nice little group at 300.
Awesome. In a competition, usually only going to have a couple shots from something like this, and then you're either going to be transitioning targets or moving position.
Okay.
But it's nice and easy to be able to move from this position. You just step up and you're moving. So it's quick to get up and out of that position and move. Yep.
Alrighty.
So as far as practice, something like this particular barricade is really nice because you have multiple different heights to practice off of and stuff. But the other thing that I want you to try is shooting off of the tripod.
Sure.
As your front rest.
Yeah.
All right, so here we have our 2Vets Recon tripod set up. Now we've already adjusted this to be about the proper height for you. And so let's go ahead and put your rifle in here. And one of the key things that we're looking for is make sure that your rifle is at the balance point. So if you pull it a little bit far back, it wants to tip down that way. If we go too much forward, it wants to tip down at the muzzle. So we want to have that essentially right at our balance point on the rifle. So what that's going to do is when we take our shot, it wants to settle right back in there. Instead of if it were butt heavy, right? As you take your shot, it's going to want to go butt down again, which might give us a little bit of rise on the target for the impact. So I always like to have it right at the balance point of the rifle myself.
Great.
Okay, so here's what we're looking at, is you're just kind of standing there at a normal height. You're not on your tiptoes, you're not squatted down, but that's about where you are naturally. And this is where the stock lines up with your shoulder fairly even with things, right?
Right.
Okay, so again, same concept is we're going to use the little bowl mechanism on here to orient our rifle to the target.
Tell you that is so easy.
Nice and easy and smooth, right?
Something else to think about is do we orient the legs anyway to, so it rocks one way or it's even, or does it just naturally? Is there any thought there?
Okay, yeah. So again, this is going to be situation dependent, but I generally like to have the one leg pointed straight forward usually. And these other two kind of coming back. So when it recoils, it's not trying to recoil back straight onto one leg, which is then going to tip, but it has these two legs that are going to want to recoil a little bit more even.
So if I have time, I can be picky, put these legs like my legs, everything's squared up.
Everything's squared up towards the target. Now, can we always set things up?
Oh, no.
That way? Not always. No, but under ideal conditions, that's part of what we're going to look for. And again, you've already done it. Your feet are squared up to the target, hips, shoulders, everything's all squared up. Now, what's also really nice is you're already reaching forward with your support hand to brace off of the tripod. That's beautiful.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Push a button.
Yep. Again, we're just going to do a couple dry fire checks, see how it looks, and again, we're kind of just practicing our fundamentals and looking for reticle deviation when we take our dry fires.
Right, so I'm gonna just show the viewers through this trigger cam, I've got full range of motion of that tiny berm at 300. And actually, I guess I can just keep forcing it, it's just nice and smooth. So even though, this is loose and nice, easy lock in. Once we have rough zero, and lock in, we're not locked in. We still have range of motion for the aiming.
A little bit, yeah, but you can get it really, really tight though as well to
that was just a simple...
nearly lock in that rifle on target.
Awesome. Okay, so fire time. 1.1 and a little less for wind. You see some normal, just It's that wind.
You
Boy, it's hard to stand still.
It is.
Woo! Okay, but yeah, as far as everything minus wind and just natural movement, it feels good.
Yep.
Oh, I felt it shift a touch. We'll just have to adjust that tighter.
Yep.
Wow, the wind picked up more.
But do you notice how when it recoils, it kind of comes up a little bit, then it should come right back down on target?
Sure, because I'm seeing my splash.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna cut back more for less wind. Wait, this way wind anyway. There we go.
Nice.
Get them one more time. There we go. All right, good deal.
Yep. So there's nothing we can do when the wind is blowing this much and we're standing up. There's very little that we can do to make it to where we're not moving something because of the wind. But a tripod like this is super strong, very stable.
Oh yeah.
It's a really, really good tool to have in our equipment kit.
So I tell you what we're also going to do is we'll have a whole extra video that you'll check in the description, and we're going to go over all the details of this because it's a pretty impressive piece of equipment.
Absolutely. Yep. And what's really nice is with this equipment that they send, this little thing here locks into this Arca rail that you have on the fore end of this Sodic rifle.
When I'm done, just out and done.
Quick and easy. It's that fast. Yep. So one other thing that we can do as well is we can actually take this off of here, just one little lever to do this. And where's the release button? Here.
Whoa!
Just pops right out.
They set it up for me earlier. I didn't see that part. That's awesome.
Yep. And so what's handy about that is if you wanted to throw a bag over this instead,
nice.
Now you have a clean, wide surface to throw your support bag over if that's what you would rather do instead of clamping
I've seen that in some of the competitions. That's cool.
Yep. Yep. And so the reason that some people would do that is it's much faster to transition from this down to a prone position as opposed to worrying about a lever.
Where seconds count.
And the bag can also be really, really stable. So a couple different options available to you with something like this.
How about using this tripod in a lower state? So say sitting or kneeling.
Sure. Let's collapse her down.
All right. Should I take this out? Is that the easiest way?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So show them how it's. And that's something else. It's fast and just quarter turns. As a guy who has to set up camera tripods all the time, that's handy. All right, so now we're ready again. Put it in my balance point right there. Okay.
And guess what? This almost looks like you could go to a seated position, couldn't you? Or a low kneeling, yep.
I like having my elbow here.
Yep.
Let me see what this feels like though. We'll try both. No, it's a little high.
It's a little bit high for you? Okay.
Yeah, so there we go. So how about we see what 400 yards would be?
400.
All right, we'll just go live. I'll just hold on the edge and that'll give me, okay. It's only about a 0.2 mil.
Okay.
Okay, check my position to see anything I could change.
No, you seem like you're doing okay. The only thing that I would do is your right foot. Can you bring that so your shin bone is a little bit more vertical?
Okay, go vertical.
So for me, here's what I would end up doing is I'd essentially bring my right knee into this.
Oh yeah, so then we don't even worry about our elbow.
So then my knee is essentially locking
your
in
support.
the buttstock here, and I'm wrapping my elbow.
Okay, I like that. My knee's not that tall. Well, I have a round in. Let's send it.
Okay.
We'll go back to. I heard it.
That was impact.
It must be right in there with the other ones in the center.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay. So yeah, there's a kneeling from tripod. Cool thing about this is we can spread these legs out.
Okay.
A little bit. Now you have an even wider base, even more stable base for your gun.
Okay.
And now you're down into a seated position.
I could see that being really nice. All righty. 400 again.
Sure.
So I just scoot all the way down. That feels good.
Yeah.
Going hot.
Impact.
There it is. Oh, it's almost, I'm gonna see if I can get the blue. Hey! Nice! That's fun. That's fun. Yep. I wouldn't have tried that in 40-mile-an-hour wind normally. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's some neat stuff.
Yep. So there's some basic stuff, and we could even go a little bit wider on this if we wanted to.
Good grief.
You
So
could
you
go
could go
basically prone with this tripod.
Dude, that's so handy. That's cool. Thanks for joining us for some of our Sniper 101 courses on our positional shooting. And I do encourage you guys, get off the bench. Don't just, I know some gun ranges, that's all they let you do, but you can dry fire practice the same way we did today, checking your natural point of aim. And any other little tips like that?
Just remember your fundamentals, always keeping those in mind every time you're at the range. Ingrain those into your psyche to where it's second nature for you every time you're behind a rifle.
So I want to thank Nick from Zero Compromise Optics for coming out and is showing you guys a free little long-range shooting class today. Stay in tune for some more fun stuff. Check out the other ones. Okay, I love it. Bye-bye.